From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
And good Monday evening, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight here on OpenLine on a Monday night on News Channel 5 Plus. We're so glad you've joined us tonight. A really, really important topic that we're going to discuss tonight, and that is unsolved murders, and in particular, the Unsolved Murder National Project. It's a new project. It's a 6-month project, and we're going to learn all about it tonight. We're going to be speaking with a local expert about this project, and we're also going to be hearing some very personal stories of loss from some local folks, moms and daughters, telling us their personal stories. And we hope you'll watch very carefully and join in the discussion at 737+. But it is my pleasure to introduce our first guest. He'll be with us throughout the night. And if you don't know Earl Jordan, well, you're just not watching a lot of local TV. He is president and founder of the local group Partners in the Struggle. Thanks so much for being here. It really is good to see you.
Good to see you.
I wish I didn't have to see you, though, and I wish I didn't have to see you on the news as often as we do. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, it's been a long time. When I was out reporting in the field, when I first got here almost 10 years ago, you were out there doing this. How long have you been doing Partners in the Struggle?
17 years.
17 years now.
And I think we met, you came out to an event we did called Soul to Soul. We had murder victims, 10 shoes, and just trying to do an awareness event, which is what we strive to always do. And I remember you coming a couple of your first months here in Nashville. But it's something that I know that God has placed in my heart to do, to support murder victims' families, speaking out against the senseless murders and gun violence here in Nashville and nationally. So with the Unsolved Murder National Project, I wanted to do something different. We started a Unsolved Murder Weekend about 6 years ago, just to highlight unsolved murders here in Nashville, Tennessee. And I said I didn't want to stop there. You know, I said we have so many unsolved murders. You know, you watch TV, watch the national news, and you see families that are still devastated after 25 years. And so it was just placed in my spirit. I said I wanted to do something with some of the unsolved murders of the families that I've been involved with throughout the 17 years with Partners in the Struggle. Right. And so that's where we at.
Let's go back over maybe the last 5 or 10 years in Nashville, as the city is just really booming. It's growing. There's more opportunity out there, but at the same time, we still face some issues. What do you see some of the positives, and what do we still need to work on?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I see, because I've been working with youths for the last 27 years, I have a passion with youths. One of the things that I hate to see is when our youths who are taking the lives of the youths. We just had a 11-year-old kid who was shot, Keon, who was shot yesterday. We had 15-year-old Dante Ziegler who was shot and killed by his 11-year-old friend. So the youth gun violence is something that we tackle a lot. Always a positive, when we come together. I see the community coming together more to try to hopefully solve these unsolved murders and crimes that are happening here in the city with the senseless gun violence that we're seeing every day.
Right.
So
is this an issue, you think, Earl, of hopelessness? Is it an issue of access to guns, or all of the above? And also, it seems to me that the city leaders, the police chief and police leaders have really worked hard to reach out to leaders in the community and also to faith-based groups,
churches,
to really work with them right down on the streets.
I think it's a correlation of everything. It depends on how the crime, to me, is illustrated. You just have individuals in this world who will conduct violent acts of crime. And with our judicial system, if these people are, go to jail for a couple of weeks or make bond or whatever and get them a smack on the wrist, they're right back out on the streets. Our neighborhoods, when we look at our neighborhoods and violence is in our neighborhoods, that's a united front where the community has to say, you know, I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm not going to tolerate, you know, drugs in my neighborhood, the gun violence in my neighborhood, and that's when the police department comes involved, and you basically just connect. You unite and say, hey, we're tired of this, and it's, you know, Rory, you know, we see it every night on the news, you know, and I know Nashville is growing, as you stated, and the gun violence and the violence overall is getting to a point where you have citizens that I may talk to that may just say, well, Earl, you know, I'm just afraid to come outside and sit on my porch because I'm afraid. You know, so we don't want Nashvillians, people who own their homes, to be afraid to sit on their front porch and enjoy this beautiful weather that we're having. So it's going to take a correlation of everyone, right. Everyone that you mentioned, you know, our churches, our police department, our mayor, our governor, everyone, because this is our city. And we want to make sure that our city is safe enough where we're able to be, you know, connected in the community where we can have a good time and not worry about, right. you know, random acts of violence.
And for every, you know, negative story that we hear on our newscasts of shootings and violence, there are plenty of positive stories too. There are breakthroughs every day. There are kids who are turned to the right track. Right. So we want to acknowledge that as well. Right. You know, that a lot of times this is working and that the kids are getting reached and and we're helping save lives.
One good thing that one of our good friend of mine by the name of Bishop-elect Marcus Campbell, he's going to be one of our guests, pastor of Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church. Marcus and I went to high school together. I was a senior when Marcus was a freshman. And we are connected so much and doing so many different things, you know, within Partners in the Struggle and his church as far as like events that we're doing. And I thank God for this brother because he's been so supportive. And as I said earlier, it's going to take all of us to try to do something. Yeah. He has a summer program that he had this summer where he had a lot of kids in the North Nashville area and just teach them how to read, write, taking his time. You know, and when we go back to our youth, if you don't mind, that's most of what we must do. We got to take time out because we have a lot of troubled youths. Yeah. I work in the school system. I work with the behavioral students, the population in Metro, and I see it every day. You know, so if I can give any youth 7.5 hours of my time at Merle School, which is where I work, and I do it with pride, and I tell them every day that you can be whatever you want to be, no matter where you come from. You just got to stay focused and get around a group of people that's going to support you.
Yeah,
and you can
positive reinforcement.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
All right. So this Unsolved Murder National Project, 6-month project from March to August of this year. It's going to highlight and tell the stories of 7 unsolved murder victims to a national audience, right? We actually have a story that Jonquil Newland put together for News Channel 5. We want to show that real quick, and then we'll come right back and comment on it. Let's go ahead and take a look.
It's Sunday morning at Mount Carmel Baptist Church. But among the music and praise, a pain felt by a growing number of families.
Eric's case went cold in 11 months.
Near the front of the sanctuary, pictures of loved ones taken far too soon.
He didn't deserve to go out of this world like that.
Jeanette and Michael Walker's son was 16 years old when he was shot and killed. His body was discovered in an alley near South Douglas Avenue.
Your child should be able to bury you, not you burying your child. He was only 16 years old. They have to pay for what they've done.
Marquita Fletcher's son, Eric, was 29 years old when he was killed 9 years ago.
We carry a sadness. It's inside of us. And it goes everywhere we go.
For these families, telling their stories is difficult, but necessary if justice is to be served.
He don't have a voice right now, but I do, and I'm speaking up for him.
For the next 6 months, each of these mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters will share what happened to their loved ones, all while bringing awareness to unsolved murders, and just maybe get a tip that could lead to an arrest.
It's no hate, it's no vengeance. It's justice. I'm just looking for justice. I miss my baby, and I would like someone to come forward and help solve my son's murder so I can be at peace.
Until then, they'll rely on each other for support, as they have for years.
Jonquil Newland a few weeks ago over on our main channel, News Channel 5. You could feel the pain there, you know, and I don't know if it's folks are looking for closure because that would, you know, everyone defines that word differently, but definitely looking for a resolution, you know, so that they can be at peace.
Right. Well, I think closure is an appropriate word. I think every family is looking for closure and also justice.
Justice.
We want justice. I mean, 17 years when you see the pain and the sorrow, the teardrops, and that. It makes me sad, but then also it motivates me even more.
Sure.
You know, and I pray a lot to, you know, to the point where God, you know, put these ideas in my system where I can create something. And this is where this came from.
Right.
I want to make sure that I can.
And this is using media outlets and newspapers, radio, talk shows like this, just immerse, you know, really getting the word out, right, about these cases.
Right, to put it out there and keep it in the public's eye.
All it takes is one person.
That's all.
To pick up the phone and make a phone call, who may know something, who may have something that police haven't followed up on.
And this is what it's about, you know, and we're going to take it to that level, and hopefully, you know, we can make it happen.
We want to take a quick phone call before we go to our first break. It's Julie. Hey, Julie, thanks for calling in.
Yes, hi. The reason I'm calling is my daughter's death was not ruled as a murder. It was ruled as a suicide, however. The police report, as well as the young boy that stayed the night with her the night they were drinking, did not match.
Right.
And, you know, it leaves the family to thinking, you know, why should we have to accept inaccurate information like this? And are they trying to cover up for something? You know, it always makes the person think, are they covering up something? So anyway, I would like to see as well a good, strong organization that really stands up for what's right. Families do want closure, and we do want, you know, peace of mind.
Sure. I understand, Julie. We do. Thank you for calling in.
You hate that, and what I would encourage the caller to do is, if you feel that there is any injustice in the case, you know, seek out other avenues. You know, if there's other avenues that you can do to bring in to investigate your daughter's incident, and our prayers go out to you. You know, I hope you can find that answer that you need, but don't stop. Don't let this be the end. Continue to get the answers that you need and persevere.
Let's take our first break. When we come back, we will be joined here live by someone who's been personally affected by violent crime. We'll be right back.